And more on the evacuation efforts. Now, 4th Indian Air Force aircraft, which carried 800 Indians, have been rescued from Ukraine, and that has now arrived at the Hindon airbase near Delhi. And this report has been sent out by the Ministry of Defence. In fact, Ajay Bhatt is seen interacting with the evacuees. You can see in your visuals, these are visuals from the Hindon airbase, and this is the 4th Indian Air Force aircraft that has brought back 800 Indians who have been rescued from Ukraine. You can also see the MOS Defence Ajay Bhatt really meeting with all the evacuees, and like has been a common visual for the past few days, all the ministers receiving the evacuees who are returning safely to the country with flowers. So here in this case, it is Mr. Ajay Bhatt who is receiving the evacuees and interacting with them as they return to their homeland. Remember, this is the 4th IAF flight. It carried 800 Indians who were rescued. So the number continues to increase. More and more Indian students continue to come back from the war-torn Ukraine. And this is a feather in the cap when it comes to the evacuation efforts that have been carried out by the Indian government. Very, very promising scenes that we are getting to see from the Hindon airport now, as the 4th IAF aircraft has arrived and it has carried 800 Indians, brought them back safely to India. So even as the Russian-Ukrainian crisis worsens, the evacuation process that has been started by the Indian government continues. As we've been telling you, now the Indian Air Force has also been pressed into action, along with the commercial flights which are continuing to bring in more and more people back to the country. The Operation Ganga flights also continue to arrive at the Delhi International Airport. 16 flights will be arriving today. 4 of them have already arrived in the morning. And now this is the 4th Indian Air Force flight that has brought 800 Indians rescued from Ukraine that has just arrived at the Hindon airport. My colleague Mohit Bhatt now joins me on the broadcast from the Hindon airbase. Mohit, a very, very promising visuals there that we are bringing to our viewers, and very relieved faces as all these Indians continue to arrive. And this is an IAF flight, remember, that we are talking about, because Indian Air Force has also been pressed into service when it comes to helping with the evacuation process.
Well, yes, Indian Air Force is an institution that comes first when it comes to evacuation of our citizens wherever they are stuck in whichever part of the country. And as of now, 4 C-17 aircrafts have landed at Hindon Air Base, and around 600 to 700 students as of now have been evacuated. Right now we are reporting from outside Hindon Air Base, and you can see anxious parents, anxious family members. They are waiting for their children to come out because they say that they were quite worried about the security and safety of their kids because they could not go out. They were staying at the bunkers. They did not have anything to eat. And remember, the temperature of Kyiv in Ukraine and other parts of Ukraine was very cold, and hence you can see parents are still there. Sir, बात हो गई बच्चों से?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
लैंड हो चुके हैं?
यस, लैंड हो चुके हैं।
बाहर अभी नहीं आए?
अभी नहीं आएंगे, टाइम लगेगा।
कहाँ फंसे थे वो
रोमानिया पे।
रोमानिया में थे, मतलब यूक्रेन में थे, फिर रोमानिया बॉर्डर तक उनको लाया?
यूक्रेन से, यस, इबोना में थे।
अच्छा, जब आपकी बात होती थी कितनी परेशानियों का उन्होंने जिक्र किया था?
बहुत ज्यादा परेशानियां की हैं, बहुत ज्यादा।
7 डिग्री टेम्परेचर में वो लोग रात को रुके हैं बाहर सड़क पे, और इतनी भगदड़ मच गई है, बच्चों को चोटें लगी हुई हैं, और मैक्सिमम बच्चे जो हैं प्रॉपर चल भी नहीं पा रहे हैं।
वो जब आप खबरें देखते थे टीवी पे, कितना डर रहता था मन में, फिर आप बात पर बात होती?
हम तो सो भी नहीं पा रहे हैं, डर तो अब क्या बताएं आपको, हम सो भी नहीं पा रहे हैं।
आपके भी बच्चे हैं?
बेटी है हमारी।
अच्छा, लैंड हो चुकी है मैम? अच्छा, कितनी खुशी है अब फाइनली वो आ रहे हैं? जिस
आ रहे हैं अब तो खुशी है।
एयरफोर्स 4 एयरक्राफ्ट लैंड हो चुके हैं, काफी बच्चे आ चुके हैं।
नहीं, अब तो बहुत खुशी है उसके बच्चों के आने की, और बहुत थैंकफुल है सरकार के हम और मोदी साहब के कि
सरकार की तरफ से कोऑर्डिनेशन मिला सर?
गवर्नमेंट ने, यूक्रेनियन गवर्नमेंट ने भी बच्चों की बहुत हेल्प की है, उनको वहाँ तक पहुँचाने में उन्होंने सब ट्रेन्स वगैरह अरेंज की, बसेस अरेंज की।
पेरेंट्स के लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है जब बच्चों के बारे में ऐसा पता लगे कि वहाँ पे युद्ध चल रहा है, और युद्ध और वो सब कुछ
लगा कि इंडियन फ्लैग की क्या वैल्यू है। इंडिया से बाहर फ्लैग लगा के गाड़ी वहाँ से बसें ऐसे चली हैं जैसे रॉकेट जा रहे हैं।
अच्छा, बताया आपके बच्चों ने कि जो फ्लैग लगाया था उन्होंने तो कैसा था?
रशियंस ने भी, अगर रशियन फोर्स कहीं थी उसने भी बच्चों की हेल्प करी है, उसने भी जहाँ तक वो था उससे क्लियर कराया है बच्चों को।
तो फाइनली अब जो है बच्चे आपके आ रहे हैं, एक इमोशनल मोमेंट रहेगा, लेकिन जो वो पीरियड था 24 तारीख के बाद का और अब तक का, उसको सम अप कैसे करेंगे? और बच्चों से जब आपकी बात होती थी तो आखिरकार क्या कहते थे सर वो?
सर बच्चे तो जब तक वो वहाँ से रोमानिया एंटर नहीं किए थे तब तक तो बहुत ही परेशान थे वो बच्चे वहाँ पे।
250 किलोमीटर का
और
ज्यादा परेशान थे। 12-12 किलोमीटर पैदल चले हैं अपने लगेज को लेकर और इन सबको।
अच्छा, आपको लगता है कि जो इंडियन एम्बेसी वगैरह है सबने पूरी आपकी हेल्प करी सर?
इंडियन एम्बेसी ने बहुत हेल्प की है बच्चों को।
वगैरह है जो उन्होंने भी बहुत हेल्प,
कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं, मजदूर हैं, वहाँ पे बहुत हेल्प, उन्होंने बहुत हेल्प करी।
भारतीय वायुसेना हमेशा से देशवासियों की मदद के लिए काम आते, कहीं भी कुछ हो। आज भी 4 फ्लाइट्स लैंड हुई है सर, क्या कहना चाहिए?
बहुत बढ़िया है जी, बच्चे हमारे तो
थैंक्स बोलेंगे सर हम अपनी इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को और वायुसेना को स्पेशली, जो हमारे लिए हमेशा ही खड़ी रहती है।
So there you heard the parents over here. They are elated, they are happy, and these are emotional scenes outside Hindon Air Force Air Station. And they clearly say when they had word with their children when they were in Ukraine, they were very worried. From 24, the airspace of Ukraine was completely closed. They were not able to come out, and they thank the Indian government and Indian Air Force so that their children are safely evacuated. We also have people over here who are carrying these boards of government of West Bengal, government of West Bengal, government of Bihar. So the resident commissioners in Delhi, they have also sent their representatives over here that if the students who are from West Bengal and they have to go to West Bengal from Hindon Air Force, all the arrangements will be done by the respective state governments. So every state government, the central government, Indian Army, Indian Air Force, they're all in action, and the priority is that our children, our kids, our students who are stuck in Ukraine, they should be back to India as soon as possible and safely. 4 C-17 aircrafts have landed, and the parents over here are very happy. Back to you in the studio.
Absolutely, Mohit. Thank you so much for bringing us that report from the Hindon Air Base, and a very reliving sight that we are actually getting to see, as families are very relieved to receive their children back home, back safely to them, and they are thanking the government of India to actually facilitate this particular evacuation process, and also, more importantly, the Indian Air Force, which has also been pressed into action to bring our children back from the war-torn Ukraine.